and from the IAS, Sri Chandrasekhar, Sri P.K. Sinha, Dr. Raman Agarwal, Dr. Khaitan, Sri Shukla, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad that a scope which was founded in the heydays of the socialist pattern of society in 1952, and it was meant for cooperation and augmentation of synergies between public sector enterprises, is today hosting a conclave for the startups. This is a meaningful journey. It is a long journey, but this is a meaningful journey. And I could see from the program schedule that a wide range of topics have been covered by you, ladies and gentlemen. And you have brought in different stakeholders. This gives me hope, because we are an extremely diverse country. We are also a country where entrepreneurship is not only centralized but also diffused, and also there are family structures. I have noted from time to time, I have been chairman of a public sector undertaking, I have been on the boards of very many, and they have done their job despite bureaucratization, despite command from their secretariats, and despite demands from the political processes. Then I was wondering how the startup flow. Then I drew some comfort. You know, it is easy to deliver a valedictory address, for everything that is important has been said. Every problem that you have been confronting has been discussed. And as just now mentioned, a startup may be a new term, but it has been long in our genes, in our character, in our DNA. For when a sage in Vedic era or subsequently contemplated on a given problem, whether it was salvation or city planning, whether it was architecture or dance forms, at the level of enlightened consciousness, he was doing two things. He was innovating, and he was asking the young boys and girls of the Gurukuls, or invisible boys and girls of his time or subsequently thereafter, that you start. Today, we are in a new era, and I thought, to understand that new era, we have to talk about the industrial revolutions. For roughly about 5,000 years or so, we had been in the era of agriculture technology, agriculture revolution. That is still taking place, but the first industrial revolution, which took place 250 years ago, and was of coal and steam, and the United Kingdom became a leader, as you know. And I don't know that they had the Rigvedic genius among them, but they had crude masters of economic domination and political domination, and they thought that colonial order should be established. But because they were also children of enlightenment, they thought that no, we should have a civilizing mission, took help of religion, took help of education. And this moved from one place to the other, whole of Asia, Africa, Latin America, Australia, and even the United States became colonies. Of course, the other European powers joined because they took advantage of this coal and steam energy. And the second industrial revolution was of electricity and oil. We have grown up in that, but we have also seen the third with computer and its accessories. Today the fourth industrial revolution is taking place, which is combination or fusion of technologies in natural, industrial and digital technologies. I am mentioning this is that we have been late entrant to this industrial revolution. We have been largely consumers of that knowledge. Of course, we have done enormously good work in outer space technology, in atomic energy, in pharmaceuticals, and various other areas, and even in digital technology. And therefore we have to think how to go about. I was told that India is the second largest ecosystem in the world. I was also told that one study shows that 90% of Indian startups fall within the first 5 years. Both may be true. Then we just heard that all the startups are urban events. They have urban addresses, Bangalore and Delhi, NCR in particular. We have a large, diverse country. So we have to move. So I do see some sages here, boys and girls, pioneers of startups. They may not be coming from these places, they may be hailing from elsewhere. How do we move? And if we don't move, particularly I have knowledge of, not only NCR but beyond Eastern UP, Bihar, North Bengal, Brahmaputra Valley and beyond, Jharkhand, Orissa, but you have a huge population. Of course, much bigger than the whole of the European Union and various other countries. And if they are somehow excluded from the fourth technology revolution, it will be difficult for us to manage. It will be difficult for us to keep cohesion. We have been told repeatedly by our leaders and also by our scholars and also by people like us that we have a demographic dividend, and the advanced countries will have shortage of a skilled force. So India has the natural way of progressing. because it has force, workforce. Are they skilled? Can they handle? So you, startups in my view, have two roles: to innovate, to think, to build institutions, and also to co-opt. And that co-option is a pioneering job. Today the world is broadly healthier, better educated, and well connected. At every increment of improvement in human history, somebody comes forward and says, this can be better. This must be better. To be an optimist has also to mean being a critic. The enemy of the future is not the pessimist alone, but in my view, the complacent, what in Hindi or Sanskrit they say tatastha. He is a bigger enemy. So that's why I'm highlighting that as a startup, it is your job to succeed. As a startup, it is your job to innovate. As a startup, it is your job to have a good team, but it is as a startup, as leaders of a startup, it is also your job to educate, to allow more inclusiveness in what you do. We are going to have Festival of Democracy shortly. And I was wondering, not only in what they do in Bengaluru or New Delhi or Gurgaon or Greater Noida and Noida or Lucknow, is every MP going to ask himself, where are my startups? Who are my startups? Can we create a startups? If it is not very irksome, some of you could go and ask a member of parliament or a would-be member of parliament, what do you think of a startups? If he's blank, don't get angry with him. It is also your failure, my failure, not to have told him what a startup is all about. But let him do that. Let every MLA have at least in his constituency 5 startups. And he can monitor. But I must also guard you that too much reliance on government is not going to help. Of course, government should give policy directions. Of course, government should make the ease of doing business necessary. Of course, the government must answer to your queries and live up to your expectations. I saw 2 experiments, I think. All of you have seen something of that in the senior persons assembly. One was called, when the sport was set up, we were having, in 1952, we were having the zenith of the community development programs and blocks. Great ideals were advocated of how we will transform, and something would happen. But today, have you heard of a block? I asked the other day the deputy chairman of Niti Aayog what happened to the block development. Because I was going through, just 8 months back, I went through and I stopped at some familiar places in Bihar. And I said, there is a block here. He said, sir, that is almost moribund, gone. So I asked him, what is happening to the brass? He said, it had even gone. I went to the World Bank. Someone mentioned about my World Bank. That was in the year 2000. As the executive director, and because of my village background, and I have been district officer, life and all that. People used to listen to me because I used to indulge in this kind of gossip which I am doing right now with you. And Jim Wolfenson, who was the president at that time, he came over to my room and he said, I have a dream project called Comprehensive Development Framework. And this was confined to some countries which were lower below, in Africa, and for every country he had a director, and we used to give them special funds. I saw his literature because I was put on the review committee, I accepted. So I told somebody here, those were not the days of supremacy of the Google. You can't get anything on the Google. Even today you can get on Google Comprehensive Development Framework, but that was not the time when you will get Nehru's speeches on community development on Google. It was infancy. So I got it from Delhi. So I gave it. He said, this is what I am doing. I said, but this has failed. This has failed in India. He said, why? I said, whenever a community program, an innovative program becomes dependent totally on government, and people like us in the World Bank or in IS or other services, it fails. And gradually, he could see the result, and gradually it withdrew. After 3-4 meetings, there was no more discussion. I said, it will. And then the directors who were there, they started echoing my voice in the meeting. Earlier they were all saying, yes, sir. Don't say yes, sir, if you are becoming too much dependent on government. You tell the government. You demand. But if your innovation, if your progress is dependent on the government, I can tell you with whatever limited experience I have, you better choose for government service. And therefore, I have spoken long enough. I will close within 5 minutes. That's why, friends, I wanted to tell you that we are doing great work in this country, but the biggest challenge facing us is this merger of biotech and infotech. This is the biggest challenge that we are confronting. Google, Facebook, and internet networks are already indulging in the game of mind control. At the same time, artificial technology, intelligence and biotechnology are giving humanity the power to reshape and re-engineer life. Any solution to this technological challenge lies in the hands of the youth of India. Understand the challenge. Discuss on that. Call the finest minds that we have available who have understood the implications of this challenge to share with you how to go about it. Because we have to debate. And we have a great tradition of debate in this country. In fact, reverting back to the World Bank, we were about 28 or 30 executive directors representing the whole world. And on my right, I used to have the German executive director. I thought he was a philosopher, but he was a banker. I didn't see much dichotomy between a banker and a philosopher. Anybody who can think. And he told me, because we had just entered into the 21st century. So on one side, my previous ministry, that is the Home Ministry, had made me the chief editor of the Millennium Book on New Delhi, which Oxford published subsequently. And on the other side, my colleague, Helmut Saffer, used to tell me that India would be there. So I told him that the state of education, I told him about poverty, I also told him about lack of electricity, good roads, communication network. He said, no, don't worry. And this was before this laptop or this mobile phone boom in India. He said, don't worry. He said, don't worry, but these are the worries of the government, of the society, of all of us. He said, no, you have a gift, which you must, each one of you who has started the startup must know that you have a gift. And that gift is, you are the inheritors of a rich civilization which has taught you that you can analyze the problem and give a word, sutra. You can discuss about the ways of solving that problem and you can give another sutra. And that is the unique genius of India. That is the unique genius that Sanskrit has in terms of language. You get a sutra. So as inheritors of that great gift, don't be complacent. I was going through, then I found that the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, talking about the startup movement, he said, and I like this quotation, he rightly observed that a startup India is a revolutionary scheme. And he reposed his faith in the community of startups and placed the government support to make sure they can implement their ideas and grow. He expressed his belief, and I'm quoting him, that success of this scheme will eventually make India a better economy and a strong country. You know our strength is diversity. You know our private sector and initiatives like startups and federal structure do provide us power. The startup movement has to go further down in remote areas of this country, because one thing is clear, democracy is thriving in India. And I want the startups to be linked up with that democratic movement. I believe that this two-day conclave has given you new perspectives. I once again compliment you, Mr. Sinha, and your colleagues for organizing this conclave, and you, ladies and gentlemen, for enriching it. I must end. I can perhaps do no better than to tell you what. Have you heard of Ramdhari Singh Dinkar? Yes. Yes. And what he said? He didn't know that I will use it for startups. but in a different context he said, and that is appropriate for you. In fact, it is more appropriate for you. सेनानी करो प्रयाण अभय, भावी इतिहास तुम्हारा है, ये नखत अमा के बुझते हैं, सारा आकाश तुम्हारा है. I thank you.